On left, right and centre, constructive debate on rebuilding Kashmir. End of 370. Is it also the end of the road for terror in Jammu and Kashmir? Are there positives in the Kashmir solution reboot? Does peace and prosperity have a real chance in the valley? Can investment deliver the healing touch? Kashmir minus 370. Is it the valley's big moment for change? Hello and welcome to Left, Right and Centre. I'm Sanket Upadhyay. The Prime Minister has just spoken and underlined what is on his mind. Many key highlights, a healing touch perhaps. Now many would argue whether that has happened or not, but he made an attempt in a 38-minute long speech. He also convinced or attempted to convince Jammu and Kashmir, not Ladakh. He mentioned very categorically that Ladakh is going to remain a union territory, but assured Jammu and Kashmir that the status of a union territory is only temporary. Is this a healing touch? When he brought references to Kawa, to the sweet, to Kashmiri shawl, all of them reaching international acclaim, when he spoke about setting up industries, when he spoke about IITs and IIMs, basically he's selling a dream to Kashmir. Is Kashmir going to be convinced? Also, this is a moment for all of us to pause and think. Kashmir is an integral part of India. Its integration with India was an idea many feel whose time had come. We may sit and argue and debate whether the manner in which it was done was best or not, could have been done in a better way or not. But now it has happened. This is the new reality. Let's look ahead. Minus 370. Can this be seen as an attempt to bring prosperity and peace in the valley? More importantly, doesn't Kashmir deserve a development blueprint? Are there positives in the Kashmir solution reboot? And can investment deliver that healing touch? A special development package for the state maybe? He spoke about industries, jobs. Is this the valley's big moment of change? We are going to put that to a discussion on Left, Right and Centre. But first, let's quickly listen in to what the Prime Minister said.
जम्मू कश्मीर के इन साथियों को भरोसा देता हूं कि धीरे धीरे हालात सामान्य हो जाएंगे और उनकी परेशानी भी कम होती चली जाएगी। साथियों, ईद का मुबारक त्योहार भी नजदीकी है। ईद के लिए मेरी ओर से आप सभी को बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं। सरकार इस बात का ध्यान रख रही है कि जम्मू कश्मीर में ईद मनाने में लोगों को कोई परेशानी ना हो। हमारे जो साथी जम्मू कश्मीर से बाहर रहते हैं और ईद पर अपने घर वापस जाना चाहते हैं, उनको भी सरकार हर संभव मदद कर रही है। दशकों के परिवारवाद ने जम्मू कश्मीर के मेरे युवाओं को नेतृत्व का अवसर ही नहीं दिया। अब मेरे युवा जम्मू कश्मीर के विकास का नेतृत्व करेंगे और उसे नई ऊंचाइयों पर ले जाएंगे। मैं जम्मू कश्मीर और लद्दाख के नौजवानों, वहां की बहन बेटियों से विशेष आग्रह करूंगा कि अपने क्षेत्र के विकास की कमान आगे आइए, खुद संभालिए।
Nazir Masoodi joins us live from Srinagar. Nazir, good evening. How's the valley taking this? I'm not sure whether people were able to listen to him or not. Can people watch television channels or is that too stopped? Did Kashmir listen to this message of a healing touch?
Whether it is a healing touch or not, that is a debatable thing, but I think everybody must have watched this. Number one, every household has a dish television here, besides cable, which is partially working. In some areas it is working, in some areas it is not working. But the question is, Prime Minister raised some important issues. Number one, 370 was impediment in the development of Jammu and Kashmir. We'll have to see facts, whether that matches the facts on the ground and why 370 has been and perhaps may remain also a very emotive issue and even existential issue for many people. Reason is not just it as a provision in the constitution, but it has to do something with their development, education, employment and so many things. For example, Big Landed Estates Abolition Act of 1950, which gave, used by Sheikh Mohammed Abdullah and gave land to all the people. And you will not see a single family in Jammu and Kashmir which is landless, which doesn't have a house. It is because it had its constitution, it was 370, which empowered the government of the day and they used Land to Tiller Act. Then there's the education. Free education, first time in the country in 50s from primary to this university. Then there is employment. There was a privilege, people of Jammu and Kashmir had a special privilege in this, having the employment, scholarships, everything because of this. And for example, I'll tell you, Prime Minister was talking about women. You know, it is the only state in the country where women have 50% reservation in medical seats. It is nowhere in the country. You have 33% reservation in the municipal and the panchayat seats. What will happen to all that? And there are so many issues. For example, you have RTI Act. It is much more stronger than our National RTI Act. So it is because J&K has its own legislative powers and its own constitution, and because of 370, these all things have been given by 370. When all this is gone, whatever we have, this is gone, and now we have to go by whatever are the central laws as part of the Union territory of Jammu and Kashmir, which it has been now transformed. That's why this is not just a simple legislation, a provision of the constitution. People may be agitating why it has been abolished. It is actually linked to the development, identity, employment, progress of the people of the state. That is why every party has been saying we will defend it. It's not just the guarantee as per the constitution which defined the J&K's, relationship with the Union of India after accession of the state with the Union of India, but it is linked to the existence of the people.
Right, Nazir. Many thanks for joining us, Nazir, and getting us your views. Let me now quickly put this to a debate and a discussion. And the topic of the debate, as I said in the preamble of this broadcast, can this new approach be given a chance? I want to welcome a wide variety of opinions on this show. We've got a full house. Desh Ratan Nigam, political analyst; Mamta Kale, leader of the Bharatiya Janata Party and co-spokesperson of the BJP; Tavleen Singh, a columnist as well as author, is also with us; Tehseen Poonawala, a political analyst, with me in the studio; Smita Gupta, a senior journalist, with me in the studio; Lieutenant General B.S. Jaswal, former Northern Army commander; Rajiv Dogra, former ambassador and former consul general to Karachi; Anuradha Bhasin Jamwal, executive editor of Kashmir Times; Nalini Singh, senior journalist, as well as Aarti Jairat, senior journalist, with me. Lots of opinions, so let's begin one by one so that all of us can have our say. Desh Ratan Nigam, we'll begin with you. I will not want you to comment on the Prime Minister's speech because that will come in due course. The topic of discussion here is whether abrogation of 370 is something that needs to be given a chance. For instance, more investment, right? More opportunities. If the Prime Minister is whatever he is saying, if even half of that comes true, will this not help the state?
The fact remains, in the last 70 years, this article was there, and we have seen how terrorism and other corruption forms have increased. We also know that the CAG audit is not applicable. Independent CAG audit is not applicable to that state. So therefore, you don't know how much money has been siphoned out, and everybody knows the huge packages that were given to Jammu and Kashmir, 80,000 crore last year, prior to that 85,000 crores. So that actual things were not reaching on the ground. So therefore, the moment you start audit, it will save a lot of money. That will also come into the form of, into the system of investment. Private investment would also come in because people were unable to buy lands. Health facilities will be developed. Other industries will come in. So this will encourage industries to come in and have a private investment. It may be a slow process, but it will gain momentum as the time goes on, because it's a very bold step that the government of India has taken, and it will take some time to settle it down.
Okay. Aarti Jairath, your views.
Look,
Let me
Sanket,
just
I
take
think-
quick opening comments and then we'll throw this open.
You know,
Yes, ma'am.
Sanket, I think the core issue really for the people of Kashmir, and I'm talking essentially about the valley, because I think in Jammu there's a fair amount of support for what the government
Even in
has
Ladakh.
done, and in Ladakh
It's
also,
just the
which has
valley.
been a lancet.
Yeah.
So I'm talking about the valley. I think the core issue for people in the valley is the very heavy security presence that has been there for the last 70 years, and even more so over the last three decades, once militancy and terrorism,
Which
kind
found
of
mention
took
in the
root.
Prime Minister's speech, by the way.
Absolutely, absolutely. And now, of course, the extra forces that have been pushed in as in the run-up to this decision being announced. I think what people want is they want that security grid to go. They want to lead a normal life like everybody else in India does, without having policemen at every 10 steps. Without having policemen breaking into your house in the middle of the night, taking away your sons, and then disappearing. Without having, not policemen, security forces actually. Without having them shoot people down, with sort of pellet guns and things like that. And I mean, that's what Kashmir has seen over the last 20 years. And I think for people in Kashmir, I mean, I have visited the state several times, and this is what they really talk about. This fear of the security forces, the oppressive
So
presence
what do
of
you feel
security
with the
forces.
abrogation of this 370? That's
Unless
not going
they
to go
remove-
away.
Unless they remove those security forces, how is anything
But you
going
can't,
to
because
develop?
you've got a rogue nation. The government
So
says
then in
the
that
government
case-
says that the terrorism is a byproduct of Article 370.
Well, in that case, who's going to even invest in the state?
Okay.
If you have such heavy security presence, and if you have such fear of turmoil and sort of trouble on the ground, then where is the investment going to come?
Okay.
So how
Interesting.
is it going to help people then? And then where is that prospect? The promise of Achhe Din that the Prime
Okay.
Minister held out today,
Okay.
is that promise really valid?
It was, and he mentioned, just like New India, he spoke about a new Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh, right? So we can safely say that he has shown Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh a dream of what they can become. Now, whether that will be a reality or not, we do not know, but a step in that direction has been taken. Tehseen, your opening comments.
You ended with the Prime Minister has shown Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh a dream on 8 p.m. today. On 8 November at 8 p.m. he also showed us a dream saying terrorism would end because of demonetization. Clearly 3 years down the line we know that dream turned out to be a nightmare. Now you mentioned Ladakh is celebrating. Let me just correct you, Sanket, very humbly. As of today curfew has been put in Kargil. As of today,
No,
so
that
not
is
all
correct.
of Ladakh is
No, so
now let's come to the third point. May I just make my opening remarks? We spoke about the last 20 years of terrorism in Kashmir. Aarti ji, in 2012, Sanket, I was in Srinagar. My best friend was, a very close friend of mine was shooting one of the biggest Bollywood movies that the Prime Minister today spoke about in 2012 in Srinagar. I was staying in a hotel, a 5-star hotel in Srinagar, which is owned by somebody who stays in Delhi. So the question of investment of outsiders goes. Let me answer this. The tariff was more than the Delhi tariff, and these are two of the country's biggest stars, and we were going to the markets without security. Things were normal. Who is responsible from 2014 to this situation today? That question must be asked. Now I want to come to my last point. Today, when we say that the Constitution of India applies completely in Jammu and Kashmir, why is Article 21, which is the mother of all constitutional rights, being denied? I want to end my point by asking just one question. You are saying today that we are going to give our Kashmiri citizens everything. How does a Kashmiri call for an ambulance? The ambulance is there, trust my army. How does he call? There's no landline. What has? I just
there's
want
no
one
landline now.
Now.
Yes,
So
I agree.
license must be.
I
What
agree.
has? I just want one statement. One. I'm not asking for two. One statement that Omar Abdullah has made that warrants him being arrested. One statement that that Ghulam Nabi Saab made that warrants him not going to Kashmir. Why is Ajit Doval there, the leader of the opposition, not being allowed to go there? Article 19 cannot be suspended. Is Keshav Nanda Bharti? One statement of Omar, just one. I'm not talking about Farooq Saab. I'm not talking about Mehbooba. One statement. Why is he under arrest?
Okay. Nalini, say your opening comment.
I would say that there is absolutely no doubt, Sanket, that development can be ramped up, not only in Kashmir, in many parts of the country, which has been said on this earlier debate. But it is true that development has suffered when you have 42,000 people being killed, development will suffer. There will be a dent at least. But I want to ask, and so therefore I am totally with the Prime Minister, that development has to be ramped up. Now the question is that for that, why do you want to repeal Article 370? And why do you want to do it by stealth? Why would you not have widespread consultations? In fact, the 2014 BJP manifesto said Article 370 will be repealed after widespread consultations with every stakeholder.
Yes, I remember. This point was made by Aarti.
Yeah,
But it was
2019
missing
didn't
in
say it.
2000.
So what I would say is that what has happened is that by doing this, by repealing article, by also abrogating the Vidhan Sabha, we have taken away the shock absorbers of this society. And this society, if any in the country, needed these shock absorbers. Now, it is extremely inefficient, I would say, use of the legislature or of laws, if for the sake of three, let us say, allegedly extremely corrupt families, the Abdullahs, the Muftis and the Gandhi Nehrus, that for that you are actually taking away the architecture of a whole state, something that your own reporter says that we identify with that totally. So corruption on the one side, can you not deal with corruption as you have, let us say in Bihar, let us say in UP, attempts are being made. So I would say that it completely defies logic, unless you agree with Mr. Yashwant Sinha, who says that this act is purely political.
Okay.
And that, I think, is where the story, they'll have to answer one day. Curfew will be lifted, and I think it is very, it's painful to hear this, to say that people are bearing up to it because they're bearing up to the suffering because they think that this will be good for them.
So
you give them suffering and you say you bear up because it's good for them.
Yeah.
It's
So
not
Nalini-
curfew.
Yeah, it's section 144, but in Jammu and Kashmir, with so many military boots on the ground, it's curfew-like.
I argued
right?
that today.
Let us not.
I argued that
See,
today there is no curfew and there's 144 in the entire state.
No,
it's
one
the
moment.
same thing.
There is
just
no
want to
doubt in
clarify that.
anyone's mind that there is some amount or a great amount of suffering of the people. We do not even know because there is no landline connectivity, no internet connectivity, no phone call. So we do not know whether people are suffering or not, or how much their suffering is. But you can safely assume that in a situation like this, where a huge chunk of the population, which you cannot connect with, may be suffering, right? Having said that, from what Nalini Singh seems to be saying, Ms. Gupta,
the Prime Minister said that they are bearing up to the suffering extremely well.
Okay, Smita Gupta, I want to come to you. What Nalini Singh seems to suggest is that peace, prosperity, progress, all of this could have happened without removing 370 also. That seems to be her main argument. What do you have to say? Do you think this template wasn't working and that's why the BJP changed, or did they just fulfill a poll promise?
Well, I think it was a political move. Firstly, 370 has been diluted over the years. Number two, even if 370 was to be removed, the people whom it impacts the most, why were they not part of the decision? That is the Legislative Assembly of Kashmir. How can those powers be transferred to Parliament of India? Secondly, I want to say that if we hear the Prime Minister's speech, it would suggest that development is the answer to all of Jammu and Kashmir's problems. I question that totally, because if that was the issue, we wouldn't have seen all these years of turmoil in the valley, particularly. I remember clearly in January 1990, when Jagmohan was the governor, as a journalist, I was there in the valley, and I remember around Republic Day, he locked up all the journalists in the hotel. He took away our curfew passes, and we got these little messages. He talked of himself being like a drain inspector, a nursing orderly. He suggested that there could be a little cricket match, with local Kashmiris to settle the issue. I think there's such a lack of understanding. It's not development that is bothering people. It is a political problem. It has to be settled politically. And I'm not defending the Abdullahs or the Muftis or the Gandhis, but by removing the political representatives such as they are Kashmiris from the equation. By
See, the government can turn around and say they will not remove the political representatives.
they
That
have
was mentioned in his
reduced them
speech.
to nothing.
Yes.
That was
They've
mentioned in his speech. That
Yes.
these people
No.
can choose their representatives.
Yeah, but he
Even
has
now.
removed the people who have political parties. He is talking about youth. Then he talked about the panchayat polls. Do you know in the panchayat polls in the valley, in many of the panchayats, there were no candidates. In many constituencies, there was a single candidate. In some constituents, in some panchayats, there were candidates who were imported from the Jammu region. So,
Because
I mean,
of terrorism.
well,
Because of
that's
fear.
what one of the PDP MPs told me, that in his area, some of the panchayats, he
Okay,
says,
okay.
we don't, they're
Interesting.
not even local.
Okay, Tavleen Singh, let me now come to you. Tavleen Singh, what do you have to say about, number one, his speech, and also giving or the abrogation of Article 370 and perhaps a new approach a chance? Is that what Kashmir needs?
Look, his speech was, you know, competent, and he laid out a road to peace, which he has to win. As I said, I wrote about it this morning. But there's something that you're missing here. Article 370 has been used as a cover to try and impose a kind of Islamic State type image to impose Shariat in Kashmir. I've been covering Kashmir for a very long time, and I've seen this movement that started off as a movement for autonomy, which they called Azadi, turn into a religious movement. Now, you know, India can simply not afford to have an Islamic state in the Kashmir Valley. So I think that that is one of the reasons why they needed to do something drastic. I personally believe that, you know, it could go either way, but you've got to acknowledge the fact that the nature, the whole, you know, complexion of Kashmir has changed in the past 4 or 5 years since Burhan Wani. Actually, before that.
Okay. Mamta Kale as well as Rajiv Dogra. Actually, Mamta Kale, let me begin by asking you. You have heard a wide variety of opinion, right? Now I want to know, will you be cognizant of what has been said over here, along with talking about the opinion of your party or the belief of your party?
Firstly, I want to congratulate our Honorable Prime Minister and Home Minister for finally the historical wrong has been undone. No, a vision or a mission which was started by Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee ji in 1951, which was supported by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel ji and Mananiya Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, has been fulfilled finally, and the justice has been done to J&K and most importantly to Ladakh also. At least now, you know, Ladakh has an identity, an individual identity. Otherwise, it was only J&K and never Ladakh. And today, it was so good to hear the Prime Minister of India saying Jammu Kashmir or Ladakh. You know, we've seen that indoctrinated youth has been used for fulfilling the desires of political and financial gains by all these political families in J&K. 42,000 people killed. Why? Where was the need for them being killed? Why were the stones given in the hands of the youths instead of giving them books and employment?
Okay.
What was the requirement? Who did all this? This was all thanks to the Article 370.
No,
and its
Mamta,
own
I
child
believe my question
called
over here
Article
to you.
25A.
Mamta, one more.
I want to
Mamta, we've
say
heard
that-
this position of the government. I'm also admitting over here that a decision has been taken, and now
These are
this
the
is
facts.
a one moment.
These
one
are
mo-
the facts,
one
Sanket.
moment. Mamta, one moment. I'm not contesting. I'm just saying that now the new reality is that
Please go on. Please go
370, the abrogation of 370 is complete. The state has been reorganized. Do you think that this is the new reality and it will reap dividends? This is what Kashmir needed. I mean, Nalini Singh said that you could have achieved all of these
Of
things
course, this is
without
the reality.
removing 370.
If that was the case, if all this, you know, could have been achieved without removing or revoking Article 370, then it would have been done in last 70 years. By the way, this article is temporary in nature, which has finally gone permanently. But where is the employment there? Where are these people in mainstream? Is our constitution being applied there? The schemes which are being made by the central government has been made by the central government or floated by the central government for last 70 years.
So you're saying that this new paradigm needs to be given a chance.
Out of it? No, they did not get benefited out of it.
Okay, Rajiv Dogra, I want to come to you, and then Anuradha Jamwal.
Honorable Prime Minister said is absolutely correct.
Okay, Mamta. We'll discuss this further as the program goes ahead. Rajiv Dogra, let me come to you. From a security point of view, let me also tell you that tomorrow is going to be the first Friday prayers after this decision has been taken. And the information that we are getting, our Home Affairs editor, Neeta Sharma, is reporting that there would be security arrangements in place to ensure that Friday prayers take place in a smooth and peaceful manner. The administration will facilitate people performing their religious obligations. It's a news flash that has come from the government. Rajiv Dogra, do you think that this, after having taken this decision, decision whether it is political, realistic, impractical, practical, the future is one part. What is going to happen from here on? Do you think that is the big challenge for any government to have taken a decision like this?
Well, okay, I waited patiently for a long time.
My apologies, sir. Please. Please carry on.
Let me speak for 2 minutes. Number one, I was one of the first persons in this country to write a book on India-Pakistan called Where Borders Bleed. And there's a chapter in that book where I've said clearly and firmly why 370 must be removed. Just like Prime Minister Nehru and Home Minister Gulzari Lal Nanda, whom I had quoted in that book, and which was quoted now during the debate in Parliament, had said that 370 in any case in normal course will abolish itself. So your question as to what transformation 370 is going to make is obvious in the fact that no one wanted 370. It was a huge mistake of Pandit Nehru. Now, having done away with it finally after 70 years, let's not lament its demise. Let us look forward, and I think that was the attempt today by the Prime Minister. Whether we are in opposition or whether we are common citizens, let's give credit where it is due. And one of the things which struck me in his speech was his emphasis on a new generation of leaders. Whether he was referring to the gentleman from Ladakh, who's an MP who delivered an excellent speech, is not for me to debate on. But the fact is that there are a number of young people in Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh whom I met often, who are waiting to be given a chance to lead a new life. So I think that was one big difference he'd made. The second big difference is his emphasis on Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh in everything he spoke. It's not Kashmir. It's not the prism of Kashmir that he saw things through. Kashmir and prism of Kashmir has defeated every effort made by this country to make a difference in that state. So I hope we understand, and people of Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh understand that if things have to move forward, then Kashmir will not become a big block to any progress that might be.
And in the process, it should progress as well.
He did talk of various ways of progress and so on. Let me just complete. No progress will be made, no progress can be made immediately. The Prime Minister does not have a magic wand. Unless people of Kashmir, and I am singling out Kashmir, stop throwing stones, law and order would be obliged to take its course.
Okay. Interesting that you say that. Lieutenant General Jaswal, my apologies for keeping you waiting, as well as Anuradha Jamwal. Since you are on Skype links, there's been a bit of a technical issue, but I believe it's been fixed now. Lieutenant General Jaswal, I want to come to you. We are getting more information from our Home Affairs editor. She says that 25 stone pelters and one trade leader has been shifted out of the valley. This is all in preparation for tomorrow. They're being shifted out of the valley in the last few days. Many have been arrested, so there is no space in jail, and that is why they are now being shifted to various jails outside the state. The ones who have been shifted out could have created problems for administration inside the jail. So I believe, Lieutenant General Jaswal, in your opinion, do you think that the challenge here, particularly from the security point of view, it was a bitter pill. Modi, in delivering his poll promise, has done something where he knew what the challenges will be. Now, how do you deal with those challenges? Do you think that this much step is enough?
I will just try and also touch upon the various points which have been given earlier.
Sure.
370, as far as removal is concerned, I think for last 70 years, it has been used as a tool to make situation in the valley from bad to worse. So it had to go. Number of models were tried out. It did not work out. So therefore, a disruptive model of the nature of removing 370 had to be done. Now, the second question was the stakeholders you're talking of. What stakeholders? These are the people who are the proxy holders, proxies of Pakistan, who've been speaking their language and have been making the situation far more worse. I'll tell you, as far as interaction with stakeholders concerned, the interlocutors were there. They went out there, they gave a report, armed forces rather, which have been the most important tool in controlling situation in J&K, was not even mentioned. It was mentioned for Pakistan, POK, as Pak-administered Kashmir. So all these armchair people who come there for a few days and make an opinion on J&K, I'm sorry. The reality is beyond what they can imagine, because one has been there, served there, faced insurgency, number of times, taken part in encounters and everything. Situation is totally different. You go for a 5-day visit, sorry, you don't get a correct picture. The stakeholders, they were the ones who created problems in J&K. Today, the stone pelters, I can proudly say, in 2010 when stone pelting started off, I was the army commander there. You go to the suburbs of Srinagar, we went to the villages, everyone is happy there because we managed to convince them. Now situation has gone bad because so-called stakeholders, they are double speak. When in chair, they speak a different language. When they are out of chair, they speak a different language, which is secessionist. They are the ones. So that is the reason they were not taken into confidence, because that agenda of the Prime Minister for a disruptive decision wouldn't have been through.
Okay.
Removing the stone pelters from there and all elements which can create problem out there is a good step.
Okay.
Because we cannot afford to have anyone tickle the big game there.
So, Lieutenant General Jamwal, from what I understand, the Prime Minister, you're saying, knew who will potentially create the Lieutenant General Jaswal. My apologies. So, he knew that who are going to create the trouble. He mentioned it in his speech. He said there are a handful, and he's taking action against those handful for larger peace and prosperity in the region. Tavleen Singh and Ms. Anuradha Jamwal, I'm going to come to you in just a short moment. Tavleen Singh, I want to ask you this very important question. Do you think that the proof of the pudding is going to be in its eating? Now that he has sold this dream, he has shown this dream to the valley, that this will happen, that will happen, and he has taken that decision. So now there will be no excuses. Now naturally there will be an expectation, even among his supporters and his critics, that show us what you promised.
Yes, he now has to win the peace, as I said before, and he can do this quite easily, because when I was there 2 months ago, there's a real fatigue with the militancy, and there is desperate unemployment. I met, almost everybody I spoke to wanted peace to return. So he's got to deliver on this. And the other thing, I just want to make one more point because I have to go.
Sure.
please let's consider why Pakistan is so upset about Article 370 being removed. You know, to me, it's very important to remember, it's easy to talk about removing security forces. You can't remove security forces because they're fighting a war. It's a civil war created by the Islamic Republic next door. And so, you know, I mean, really, we've got to be much more realistic about what's going on. It isn't just about employment and development. It's about India not being able to afford a little Islamic Republic at the top of our, country. Anyway, I have to go now.
Sure,
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Tavleen Singh, for joining us and sharing your views. Anuradha Jamwal, let me come to you now. You have heard everyone's opinion, and I apologize for not having come to you earlier. Wide spectrum of opinion over here, Ms. Jamwal. But what is your personal experience? Do you think that all of this is achievable and 370 was the hindrance, that now there will be employment? Because, you know, the CMIE data says that Jammu and Kashmir is worse than the national average for July 2019, whereas the NSSO data says that Jammu Kashmir is better than the national average for 2017-2018. There is perhaps clarity on joblessness that is required and solutions that are required. Do you think that this is only possible once these central schemes come in, like Startup India, Skill India, like applicable to Kashmir?
First of all, I'd like to say, in this huge panel, which is already so tilted, I'm the only one from Jammu and Kashmir when we are discussing Jammu and Kashmir. So I hope you give me a little more time.
Absolutely, ma'am. Absolutely. My apologies for keeping you waiting, and you have all the time. I am sure everybody agrees. Please go ahead. This voice needs to be heard.
First of all, I'd like to talk about, Mr. Modi spoke about equal right. Now we are giving people of Jammu and Kashmir equal right. There's a little hypocrisy about what this means on the ground. We've got equal rights as much as the Indian citizens, but our democratic rights have been snatched. Nobody's asked us what you want. He's selling us a dream. Do we want that? Do we want that dream? Yeah. And we don't even know, because majority population in the state, not only in the valley, in Rajouri, Poonch and Doda, they are virtually under siege. They have been imprisoned. The other thing is equal to good. Democracy, liberal democracies are about respecting diversity. And we've had models in other parts of country where there are special laws, and uniformity does not exist in toto. There are areas across the world which have had autonomous resolution models, and wherever you try to control more, those areas have always been problem makers. The other thing is, linking terrorism and Article 370 is extremely misleading. Tavleen Singh has left, but she spoke about Azadi and these slogans coming from Article 370. Was the state government at any point of time legally sanctioning terrorism? Terrorism exists, it exists because of a political conflict. It grew because the Indian government denied democratic rights to the people of Jammu and Kashmir. And whenever these democratic rights were eroded, insurgency has been on the rise.
Okay.
The election in 1987 led, that was the last straw which led to...
Interesting, Ms. Jamwal, that you make those points. Interesting that you make those points. Rajiv Dogra... One moment. Let me take in an opinion.
I need to finish.
Sure.
When Article 7 is already a hollow shell. When it was being followed, much of it in 1960s. After that, we had insurgency in Rajouri, Poonch. And this is not the only state where we've had corruption.
No, but fair enough. I agree. You know, in the parliament also, Mr. Rajiv Dogra, it was an Akhilesh Yadav who got up and said, well, if you think that Kashmir is a problem and abrogation of 370 is the disease and you are curing it, then what's your excuse for Uttar Pradesh? What's your excuse for other states? Right? Now you may argue whether this point is correct or not, but it's a point. Right? Rajiv Dogra, what about the concerns that have been raised by Ms. Jamwal? I don't know whether you were able to hear that or not.
No, I couldn't hear properly. But naturally, she has a political point, and I am sorry, I do not comment on internal political issues. But let me tell you one thing. let me tell you one thing, that 370 is not just an internal political issue. As long as you have 370 and 35A in Jammu and Kashmir, you are sending out a message loud and clear to the world that we are not sure of our own status in Jammu and Kashmir. It's tentative, it's hanging by a thin string. So please tell us what is the next step we should make. Jawaharlal Nehru admitted it as much. And it was a huge mistake made in those times at the behest of Sheikh Abdullah and so on. Let's not go into that. But at some point, we had to assert that Jammu and Kashmir is an integral part of India, as Jammu and Kashmir Constituent Assembly itself, in a preamble adopted in 1956, had said in the very first sentence that we, the people of Jammu and Kashmir, are an integral part of India. Now, what happens in Uttar Pradesh or Madhya Pradesh and so on is quite a different issue.
Okay.
That does not have the same background or same sensitivity
quickly,
or same perfidy of Pakistan as is happening in Jammu and Kashmir.
Okay. Let me bring this discussion back to the studio, but before I do that, one quick word from Lieutenant General Jaswal. Lieutenant General Jaswal, the point that was made by Ms. Jamwal is that fine, you have promised us development, you have promised us prosperity, peace, but what about our will, our freedom?
As far as Mrs. Jamwal is concerned, she is absolutely right. Development is not the answer out there. It is all here. The poisoning of mind which has been done by the so-called stakeholders. They are the ones like Hurriyat and the rest of the leaders. You hear their speeches. It is seditious in nature. You see, the only thing which I would like to say
are you saying that development is not an agenda?
No, it is an agenda, but it has been done in quite a bit of measure. It has been denied because of 370.
Okay.
370 was restrictive as far as full integration or development was supposed to be concerned.
I beg to differ.
Well, it's your opinion. That's perfectly fine. You can express. Let me express myself. I've also been there, and I also know a lot about Jammu for that matter, and I don't want to contest on that. The only reason why 370 had to be removed, because it became a rallying point for the proxy intent of Pakistan. Every Jammuite, Kashmiri or not Ladakhi that much, they became an identity under 370, which was being influenced, and adrenaline was being given by the proxy intent of Pakistan. It had to be removed.
Okay.
And development which is there, enough development has been done, and of course, far more vision is there now in development once they integrated with us.
Okay. Let me bring the discussion back to the studio, and Ms. Jamwal, I'll come back to you. Don't worry, I know that you want to contest this. I will come back to you. The discussion back into the studio one by one. Who wants to go first?
Let me do it. Yeah. Now, apart from the various reasons that everybody is given for revoking Article 370, there is something very important is, Kashmir very lost its secular credentials in 1990. India is a secular country, and this will re-establish the secular identity of the valley. And the people who have been thrown out, I believe 5 lakh in number in 1990 itself, they have to be put back there.
No, so you were saying that 370 was not helping the government implement
Yeah, they were the
were
ones.
not allowing IIMs to open.
Yes, yes.
Right? There
all
was
those
no
things.
growth of business. Right?
Sanket,
Investment and growth was not happening.
Let me.
Opportunities were not happening.
Yes, because you could not buy land. Industries were not coming. That is, even one of the factories, HMT, also closed. One of the important premier factories of our time, which was manufacturing watches.
And that will establish the,
yes,
restore the secular credentials.
All these, and people will go. This is one of the important reasons. And look at the people, the fiery speeches these local parties leaders gave. Aag lag jayegi agar ye tum chuoge, hum Pakistan mein chale jayenge, things like that. They were the ones who were creating. They are a part of a problem. They are a part of a problem.
I think now the real reasons are coming out. It's got nothing to do with development. It's obviously all to do with Pakistan. It's to do with the, the fears that you were losing control of the valley. You wanted to reassert your control over that valley. That's the reason. Development is just being offered as a mask. It's an excuse that, Article 370 was an impediment to development. Of course, it wasn't an impediment to development. What was happening was that you were slowly, the situation on the ground is such that that place is slipping out of your control. And how are you going to re-establish your control now? By pushing in more troops. I mean, you've already alienated people there to such an extent that they don't want to be a part of your country. Now you're going to put in more troops and alienate them further. So, I mean, I think that, and I'm sorry, I disagree with the Lieutenant General. He's talking about stakeholders. Separatists are just one of them. What about the mainstream political leadership? They weren't talking separatist language. I'm sorry. They were participating in elections.
But the allegation is that they used to when they were in
opposition. They were flying the flag of India. They were coming to parliament. They were coming to parliament. I mean, what are we talking about? You can't just discredit the entire leadership of Jammu and Kashmir like that.
Let's address everything with data and facts. Everything. Sir says no outside investment allowed. There is the Taj there, there is the Lalit there, and various five-star hotels not owned by people staying in Jammu and Kashmir. No outside investment.
Five-star hotels is not a marker
make my point. You never interrupted any development. Sir says there is lack of education. Yet on educational indices, Jammu and Kashmir beats Uttar Pradesh, beats Haryana, beats Bihar. All governed by the BJP, beats Gujarat on major education indices governed by Narendra Modi.
What about employment?
There is the IIT there is the NIFT there. Now let's come to facts. The fact of the matter was this. Somebody said 4 days, 5 days. The government official data released by Rajnath Singh Ji shows in 2012-2013, the average tourists in Srinagar, I'm not talking about Gulmarg, I'm not talking about the rest of Kashmir, in Srinagar was 6 lakh tourists per month, 6 lakhs. Who spoilt it? And I want to come down to my last point. My last point is I am all for Article 370 going. I support Prime Minister Modi on this. But at the end of the day, if today Article 370 going means the Indian Constitution must apply there, why is fundamental rights today suspended when the Indian Constitution, Keshav Nanda Bharati, guarantees it? And no one's answered it. Therefore, I want to end by asking one statement, just one that Ghulam Nabi said, sir, answer this. Ghulam Nabi or Omar, one statement they said that is anti-India. One. I'm not asking for two, I'm asking for one.
Very quickly, I'm running out of time. Last two comments.
I would just say, please, Sanket, what I want to say is that I think what was really required was separating Ladakh. Ladakh really had another voice from within, and they really needed this, special treatment. Totally on Ladakh. But I would say that, if the people of Kashmir today are fearing demographic changes, then let me give you, you're asking for evidence. I am giving you evidence of morning walkers in parks in Delhi, males by the way, no females, saying, where will we buy land now? Would you like Tanmarg? Would you like Gulmarg? I have heard it.
That's on the lighter side.
No, it was not on the lighter
side.
Sir,
Come on.
When
don't sensationalize it.
I'm not sensationalizing.
You are sensationalizing it.
If I can just finish, please, I certainly don't want to sensationalize, but this is one thing that reminded me of the visit. Asmita has talked about 1990. She was there in January. I was there in May, after the Kashmiri Pandits had left. And the one refrain you heard everywhere, from Hotel Ahdus to where, if you were able to go out, was Azadi. So if autonomy of that nature was in 1990, maybe it dipped, but you know, you don't do something which makes it rise again. Lieutenant General Jaiswal is totally correct saying that Pakistan is sitting on our borders, it's vicious, it's evil, and I totally agree.
Okay.
But let us just look at one thing, that you know, if Pakistan sends terrorists today, what will happen in October?
Okay.
They are going to the Financial Action Task Force in Paris. Nothing will come their way.
Okay.
So, you know, they let them do it, and all what have they been able to do today?
Yeah.
Besides, you know, the generals, they've actually arrested Mariam. That is what Pakistan is
Okay,
able
okay,
to do.
okay.
Not to say that they won't do something. They will
Yes.
certainly.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is that the core of the matter is Ladakh was one, but here take the people along
Okay,
with you.
take the
There's still
people
time.
now. Smita Gupta, last word. Running out of time.
I think perhaps the most dangerous message that comes out from what has been done on 370 and reducing the Jammu and Kashmir into 2 union territories is that we are that this government is showing how it is moving towards centralizing all powers in a country
now
where
that's
the federal
debate.
system is important.
Huh.
And the second thing is that whereas majoritarianism will grow, because whereas things like lynching or you know the cow issue, all those other issues, they were done kind of unofficially. This has been done officially. This is the first.
Okay. Okay, so still a debate on whether articles, the abrogation of Article 370, reorganization, the manner in which it was done, whether it should have been done or not, more consultation was required or not, all of that is still on. In the meanwhile, now that it has been done, should we be looking ahead and think of perhaps what the challenges and the opportunities could be for the state, the crucial state of Jammu and Kashmir? News continues right here on NDTV.